Good evening, everybody! Welcome to round 10 of our 1991 F1 series, coming to you from Spa-Francorchamps. I am Jason White. I will be your play-by-play announcer for this event. Welcome back, everyone. We hope you all had a very pleasant August, and we are ready now to resume our F1 series after our traditional one-month break. Let me run down the top 10 for you in qualifying as time expired. There are some surprises in here, so bear with us as we have to navigate a few car changes for people and some surprises as far as who's in the top 5. Ray Radal will start a pole. That's not a big surprise. Just getting under 1 minute and 50 seconds, 1:49.991. In second, now driving for Scuderia Ferrari, is Richard Wilkes, who's only 0.5 of a second back. In third is his teammate David Saber. Fourth is John Team. Fifth is Ray Radal, now with Tyrrell. Sixth is Brian Janik, now with Dallara. Seventh is Nicholas Kirsten, now with Jordan. Eighth is Giovanni Santarami, now with Tyrrell. Ninth is Anders Nilsson, still in a Jordan. And rounding out the top 10 is Cezarius Slipinski, still in a minority. That is your top 10 to start this upcoming Belgian Grand Prix. So, I mentioned that there's a bit of a scramble in the names. Indeed, some people took advantage of the time away from racing to change teams and get some new cars underneath them. Most notably, the Tyrrell team has changed wholesale. Giovanni Santarami and Grant Radal are now driving the 020 Braun Tyrrell Honda cars. Jordan has one new addition in Nicholas Kirsten. The other is the same driver, Anders Nilsson. Dallara now has Dante Barbera and Brian Janik as their drivers. And on Ferrari, as I mentioned, Richard Wilkes has joined David Saber. So those are the main changes that have happened so far. And you're watching Brian Janik right now as he traverses the track. He and I had a 1-2 in the total cut class last week, so we're kind of riding high after that. But now it's a very different kettle of fish with Formula One cars here on the ISO Broadcast Network. We're really glad that everybody's here on YouTube to watch us, and we hope we have a really fun and exciting race for you today. So here we are at Spa-Francorchamps. Now, this is probably one of the greatest, most revered circuits in the world. It started life as a 9-mile circuit that swept through country roads, and in a lot of ways it still does that, but now it's much shorter and much more modern in its layout. But even so, it's still a fantastic circuit to drive, and it'll hopefully provide a fun challenge for our racers today and a good show for you at home. The one corner that could be a focal point for trouble on the first lap would be Las Sources, which is that very pointed hairpin at the left end of the track there. Think of 26 drivers jockeying for position at such a slow bend. You can see how that could spell trouble. So we'll be watching that closely to make sure everybody gets through unscathed. Then you have the rush downhill to this diabolical uphill turn known as Eau Rouge. This is one of those turns where you have to hold your breath, especially in qualifying, and we'll have to see which of our drivers can successfully navigate this section 44 times. That's how many laps we're going for today. 44 laps around this beautiful Spa-Francorchamps circuit. So let's take a look at the championship tables, familiarize ourselves where we are right now. So on top, of course, Ray Radal with 59 points. Anders Nilsson is in second with 44. So the championship is not that far out of reach for the others yet. Third, Jules Bouchard making a lot of hay with his time now at Marlboro McLaren. Giovanni Santarami is fourth with 18 points. And then fifth is Cezarius Slipinski with 17 points. In the constructors' standings, Cannon Williams' team has 63 points. Team 7-Up Jordan is second with 50 points. Scuderia Italia is third with 29 points. Braun Tyrrell Honda is fourth with 23. And then you have Honda Marlboro McLaren peeking into the top 5 at 22 points. So let's take a look now at the performance line for the top 5 drivers in this series. You see Ray Radal at the very top there with 59 points. Anders at 44, the next one down. And then you've got 3 others very close together. Jules Bouchard at 24, Giovanni Santarami at 18, and Cezarius Lipinski at 17. Now you'll note that Ray Riddall and Anders Nilsson have pretty consistent performance the whole way through to the point they're at now. In fact, I believe they're the only two drivers in the series who scored points in every single outing, which is pretty impressive. Then you look at the others. Every time you see a straight line, that's when someone has not scored points. So for Santarami and Lipinski, they've had intermittent moments of good performance. And then you look at Jules Bouchard, long time, I think he was with Jordan prior to round 6. Was not happy there, but you can see he immediately takes off at round 6, and that's when he finally acquired the Marlboro McLaren, and he's got some more updates on that car that we'll talk about in a little bit. But that gives you a pretty good idea of how people have been performing relative to each other in the top 5 right there. All right, so let's go on the track now and see if we can find somebody who is about to start a lap here of the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. Let's see. Find somebody who's just completing a lap. Okay, here's Simon Watman, and he is just about set to complete a lap. So we'll stay with him. He's going to hit the bus stop here and then hopefully go for another lap, and then we can take a look at this course, Spa-Francorchamps. This is the bus stop chicane. Okay, here he goes. He is now heading towards the La Source hairpin, heads towards the right. There's a start-finish line behind him there. Now he accelerates downhill towards Eau Rouge, which is a very diabolical corner, downhill and then uphill all of a sudden as you head back to the right. And he's lifting quite a bit there. And this car doesn't handle that great, so I would imagine that. Now he's heading down a long straight here until he gets to Les Combes. And this is the part where the old circuit, we leave it and we join the new circuit. Here we go, into Les Combes. Whoa! He spins it around. Goodness. Oh, just gets missed by one of the McLarens there. That looked to be Jules Bouchard. Anyway, okay, now he's getting back in the circuit. Now you head downhill in this section to a hairpin that is called the Brussels hairpin. Back to the right here. It's also known as Rivage. Now coming downhill again into a left-hander. Now you go into this very fast section next to left-handers called Pouhon. And this is probably one of the most exciting parts of the circuit because you progressively get faster as you're going downhill. It's like a roller coaster. He's having trouble getting that front end to comply, but exits Pouhon now into this campus section, right, left. Kind of a technical right-left, and now into a right-hander known as Stavelot. Exiting Stavelot, it's kind of a double apex. And you'll look to the left and you'll see a piece of track coming onto this one, and that is the old circuit rejoining the new. Here we are now at Blanchimont. Back to the left. Oh, there's Michael Drexler skipping through. There's Blanchimont. And now we come down to the bus stop chicane. It's called the bus stop chicane because it's about as imaginative as a bus stop. Left, right. Right, left. Let's go for one more lap. Whoa, goodness, he bounds over those curbs. You got to be careful there. It's tempting to go over the curbs and gain positions, but it's very tricky stuff. Now into La Source, starting another lap. And you see Michael Drexler right ahead. And there's Matthias Whitman coming out of the pits. Now into Eau Rouge. Very high speed. Left, right. Oh, and Whitman loses it right in front of Simon. Oh! Simon hits the barrier. See, that's one of the big dangers of La Source. If something happens to someone in front of you, you're at the mercy of wherever the car's going to go. So, unfortunately, that didn't quite work out for Simon. So, anyway. But going back to that performance line thing, this is a situation right here where there's plenty of graphic representation there of how people have done through the season. And again, it's pretty impressive that the top two drivers have scored points in every race. That's really neat. and really hard to do in this series. It says a lot about the quality of drivers we have here at ISO, if I can say so. See who else is a few more people here that we might be able to have a look at. Let's see. Here's Janik heading downhill after La Source into Eau Rouge. Left, right. Ugh. Man, it's got to do stuff to your stomach in real life. And now down the Kemmel Straight. He's going to be heading into Les Combes, the combination turns 7 and 8. Here he comes. Right, left. And this is a high-speed circuit, so people are going to be definitely trimming their cars out as much as they can and still get the grip that they need as he goes through the hairpin here, now leading into the interior section of the circuit. Turn 11 and now down to turn 12, the Pouhon section, which, as I mentioned before, is a very high-speed section. Taking it right out to the curb, now back in again. Now down to Campus. Right, left. Now accelerating down to Stavelot. It's double apex right-hander. The second one's a little bit more open than the last. And now heading back onto the old circuit. You see that old road there joining it. Now we're back in the old circuit. You can also tell you're on the old circuit by the dashed lines because those are public roads. Heading down to Blanchimont. And now, just about now here, braking very hard for the bus stop chicane. Left, right, and then the exit of the bus stop is a bit more quick. You can thread the needle through there, and that's Janik completing a lap, getting used to his Dallara that he's driving now. He was driving for Lotus for the longest time. Now he's in a Dallara. But he seems to be doing pretty well as far as getting the car balanced right. He qualified 6th. So clearly this car is more to his liking than the Lotus 102. So we'll have to pay close attention to Brian during the race. There's that stationary camera at the top of the hill, which provides some good shots. That'll be excellent on the start. Here's the chopper shot of Brian as he heads down the Kemmel Straight, heading towards Les Combes. There he goes into Les Combes. So good camera coverage here on this track as well. Oh, Brian loses it. Shoot. Oh, right into the tire barrier. Well, at least he's getting the accidents out of the way now. Okay, so coming up at ISO in the next few weeks. Next week, we're continuing DHL International Race Day activity, which is going to be at the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit this time. Round 11 of 13, Sunday, September 22nd. Race 1 will start at 2000 CEST. This is a track that, well, it's a little more fun than the full Brands Hatch, I guess, but look for some asymmetric setups with some drivers there. Should be interesting. But that's the 11th round out of 13 for the 1996 British Touring Car Championship. Then the following week, on the 29th, we go to Silverstone, and this is significant because there's been a lot of work that we've been doing on Silverstone behind the scenes. That's why it's this much later in the calendar than normally would be. But the 29th, it's the Foster's British Grand Prix, round 11 of 16 for the F1 91 cars. Green light will be at 2000 CEST. Coverage will begin at 1945 CEST on this channel with yours truly. And And one other thing we have to point out, we have another podcast coming up this Saturday, the 21st, at 2000 CEST with a very, very special guest. We're not going to tell you who it is. You'll have to tune in to find out, but you will be very happy that you did. So, here's Janik. I guess he's, are we already going to the race session? That quickly? Yes, we are. Wow. Well, I just got through everything I was supposed to get through, except for trivia. I'll do that right now. Trivia question for you. Which driver won the last Belgian Grand Prix at Zolder? Was it Michele Alboreto, Ayrton Senna, or Alain Prost? We'll have the answer later on in the broadcast. Now, 44 laps are on the board. We'll go to the head of the field here. Actually, wait a minute. We're going to have to load this again because I don't believe the grid is loaded properly. Tiago is in this race, but he is not on the pole. Based on what I have in front of me here. So this is probably going straight back to the warm-up session so they can re-input the grid, and sure enough, well, let's see. No, they're going to the race session. I'm not sure what's going on here. I'm sure that somebody in authority will be stopping the race and going back to a warm-up because this is definitely not the results that I see. Let me load this one more time. Maybe I'm just crazy. There's one car that's kind of up in the air. Oh, yes, we're going back to warm-up. Okay, good. So sanity reigns supreme here at Spa-Francorchamps. All right, so as soon as they get the new, as soon as they get the grid put in, oh, there we go. Now we're going right back to race session. Okay, so the grid should be input at this point, and it appears it is. So as soon as they go to the grid, we will give you the full rundown of the 26 starters for this Belgian Grand Prix. Great to be back racing again, but we think we all needed a month off just to kick back and relax, and now we're back to the series again. It's going to be a little difficult for some of us because of the kind of the musical chairs that occurred over the August break, but we'll get through it. And we've got the nomenclature on the left to help, so we'll do the very best we can. Cars are lining up on the grid now, and as soon as they start off on their as they start off on their parade lap, we will go through each of the cars for you. And there they go. On the pole, Ray Riddall, your series points leader in the Williams-Renault FW14. In second, Richard Wilkes, Ferrari 643, his first start in the 643 Ferrari. This ought to be good. He's driving John Lacey's car. In third, David Saber, his teammate, Ferrari 643. Fourth, John Team, McLaren Honda MP46. Fifth, Grant Riddall, starting his first race for Tyrrell. Sixth, Brian Janik, starting, I believe, his first race for Dallara. Seventh is Nicholas Kirsten, now with Jordan. Eighth, now with Tyrrell, is Giovanni Santarami. Ninth is Anders Nilsson, remaining with Jordan, the second place driver in the point standings. 10th is Cesare Slipinski, Minardi Ferrari. 11th is Juha Boss, Benetton Ford. 12th, Gabriel Del Piccolo in a Lotus Ford 102B. 13th, Tiago Canola making a surprise appearance in the Dallara Judd D191. 14th, Tim Hilla, Minardi Ferrari M191. 15th, and in the pits, in the garage still, Rob De Vries. You can't see him because of the brick wall, but he is there. 16th, Miguel Drexler, Williams-Renault. 17th, Mark Matthias Whitman, AGS Ford. 18th, Gilles Tau, LaRousse Ford, LC91. 19th, Peter Hlavich in the Footwork Hart, FA12C. 20th, Bruno Chacon in the second Benetton. 21st, Johnny Aces, Kalani Ford C4. 22nd, Timo Werner in the other Lotus Judd. 23rd, Simon Wattman in the Ligier Lamborghini. 24th, a surprising qualifying performance from Jules Bouchard. I believe he joined qualifying late and just couldn't put up a time quickly enough. Matthew Sibignani is 25th, Brabham Yamaha, and rounding out the field, Ruben Fernandez in the Leighton House Ilmore CG 911. So that's your grid. Ray Riddall bringing the cars around slowly on the recon lap. He's going to make sure that he doesn't leave them too long on the grid so the engines won't cook. Important car updates for this race. For Spa, McLaren Honda has developed a variable length inlet trumpet system that will provide more torque and a flatter torque curve. It does add a small amount of weight, though, which raises the center of gravity. Ferrari has a different version of their Tipo engine, 291.5 engine, is a higher rev limit and more power, which means that the Ferrari is now putting out 703 horsepower. I'm sorry, it was 703, now it's 708 horsepower, so they increased by 5 horses. But every bit counts, especially on a circuit like this, where you're slipstreaming people down to Lake Home. Here comes Ray Riddall through the bus stop. He is going to very shortly be on the grid. And before long, we'll be starting this Belgian Grand Prix. I'm going to set up my camera at the end here and then zoom in and zoom out as the race starts, because that way we can see what happens in the... Oops, sorry. There we go. This way we can see what happens in the first corner smoothly. I will forego using the green light because I want to be able to show you a good start here. All right, so when we see that name flicker, we know we're into starters orders. There it is. Stand by for the start of the Belgian Grand Prix. There are the lights. And the race is underway. Oh my goodness, there's already parts flying. Decent getaway by Ray Riddall as he leads into the first turn, and there's parts everywhere. Janik has lost his front wing. My goodness. Everybody seems to be getting through Eau Rouge, at least with all 4 wheels, but we have some parts missing. There's Johnny Aces. He's gone into the barrier and lost his front wing, and we'll see if he continues. He's going to continue. Down to Lake Combe for the first time, and it is Ray Riddall in the lead. The 2 Ferraris are second and third, then a Tyrrell. Here comes Boss, Shlapinski, Centorami, Del Piccolo had an excellent start. But Ray Riddall got off the line just the way he wanted to, and the Ferraris also had an excellent start. Looking for the full rundown here. We should be getting it once they trip the first sector. There is Ray Riddall traversing Pouhon. There we go. Ray Riddall is in the lead, and they are tripping the first sector there now. Sabre is in second. Wilkes drops to third. Fourth is Grant Riddall. Fifth is Juha Boss. Sixth, Shlapinski. My goodness. Seventh is Centorami. Eighth is Del Piccolo. Ninth, Nilsson. 10th is Weber. Another great start from Weber in the AGS. It's the second really great start that he's done. Coming down now to the bus stop chicane after they get through Blanchiment. And here comes the bus stop. After this, this turn right here, this very tight left-hander, and now into the bus stop chicane. Riddall, David Sabre, Richard Wilkes, Grant Riddall, Juha Boss, Shlapinski, Centorami, Del Piccolo, Anders Nilsson. Weber is now up to 9th place. Or no, he's still in 10th place, sorry. Gilles Taux showing very well to start with, but here's Ray after completing lap 1, and he's already pulled out a little bit of a gap. He's got 2.5 seconds on Sabre. Here they come through the end of Eau Rouge. 2 Ferraris, then Grant Riddall, Juha Boss and Shlapinski, Centorami, Del Piccolo, Anders Nilsson, and Matthias Whitman. Sorry, it's Whitman. We used to have a driver that was Matthias Weber. So Ridal had a great start, and David got the better of his Ferrari teammate on the start there. Maybe a little bit better experience with the 643 than Wilkes does, although Wilkes does write the physics for these cars. Grant Ridal now driving for Tyrrell. I guess he figured that he wasn't getting enough out of the D191 previous to this car, so he has now switched over to see if the Tyrrell will do better. But look at this, Juha closing in on Cezarius Lipinski. Let's go on board with him. Oh, he caught a bit of the curb there. That's not good. You don't want to do that too much. Back to the left here. This is a really, really interesting section here, because you really want to push the car hard, but you don't want to because you could understeer off into the tires easily. Now heading back onto the main circuit. My goodness, yeah, that's true. 5 DNFs on that start, and Janik's one of them. So there was at least one driver there that was going to go back to the pits, and that was Johnny Aces. But he's going to be seriously down the order. But yeah, 5 DNFs already just on that one start. So here's Juha trying to close in on Lipinski in his Benetton B191, heading down to La Source. And Grant Ridal is just in front of these two. So there he goes, heading down the straight now. All downhill this way, heading to Eau Rouge. And up the hill again. There's Giovanni in his new Tyrrell. Del Piccolo, Nilsson. And here it looks like Grant is having to defend himself from Lipinski. Lipinski closing in here. And the Tyrrells are, they're not the fastest cars in terms of horsepower, but they're definitely great handling cars. These new Ferrari 643s getting the slight bump in horsepower, but still, it's not enough to try to close up to Ray Ridal here as they come through this fast left-right combination, or right-left. There's Grant Ridal, there's Lipinski, there's Boss, and Centorami. So, if you're Ray Ridal, you're in the lead in the championship, you're in a really good spot here, you're pulling out a gap, you've got 3 seconds now from the Wilkes and Sabre combo there. So you're just going to be trying to not make any mistakes, have one tire stop probably, and then try to capture another win. That's Ray's job. The Ferraris will probably be looking to pull some kind of a surprise in terms of overlap. And my goodness, look at the list of DNFs now. The DNF list is Hilla Canola, Sibignoni, Kirsten, Rob DeVries, Brian Janik, Simon Watman, and John Team all out of the race. And we didn't see that much action. It must have been stuff that happened at just at the top of the hill here past Eau Rouge, because it certainly didn't happen at the hairpin at La Source. So, my goodness, the field has been thinned drastically here. And look at this. Here comes Lipinski trying to pass Grant Ridal on the outside. Is he going to get it done? He does. Let's take a look at that in a replay. He's trying him here. On the outside. There's a contact there. No, it's actually Grant stays ahead of him there, but Grant defended the position. Hopefully he didn't have any damage from that. And that gives Juha the opportunity to close in. Anytime someone tries an overtake and it doesn't work, you're just losing time. And Juha sees an opportunity here to possibly nab a place from Lipinski, and he's got a chance here if he can get alongside him before Pouhon. but no, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. But he's very close, and Grant is just ahead. Close quarters there, and you got to be very careful under braking because you got to judge distances very closely. And you see the tires there, and that makes sure everybody is honest about getting through the bus stop. Grant Riddall stays in fourth, and Juha Boss continues to press Schlapinski. David Saber and Wilkes remaining second and third. Very soon we shall see, well, we're going to go back a bit there. There's fourth, fifth, and sixth right there. Schlapinski is making another try on the inside, and it looks like he'll probably get it done this time. Yes, he does. He uses the Ferrari power to get ahead of Grant Riddall. We've mentioned before that that is the last year's spec Ferrari engine, but look at Grant. He is not going to take this line down. Pops out just for a second, but can't get alongside. Schlapinski now running fourth, and Grant is in a sandwich between him and Juha Boss. Juha looking to capitalize too on what's going on here. Juha in that Benetton looks like he's handling very, very well. Through Pouhon. Oh, look at this. Boss is much closer now. These three, you could throw a blanket over them. Oh, thanks to KO. Yeah, the turn that comes after Eau Rouge is Radion. Now I remember. Thank you. So Schlapinski is using the horses in that Ferrari to pull out a little bit of a gap there. But there is Juha making it into fifth place. Looks like we got a problem here. Is something wrong with Grant's car? Grant has an issue. He's gone into the runoff area, and he's turning the wheel back and forth. It looks to me like he might have a hardware problem of some kind, but he's going back on the track now. Is he going to go to the pits? Yes, he is. Some damage perhaps of some kind? Yeah, his right front wing is drooping there, so he's getting service. So is another car there. I believe that is Vermeersch in the Lotus. So that's a pretty significant problem there for Grant Riddall. My goodness, he's going to go all the way down. Now look at this. We're starting to see some people get lapped here. That's Drexler, who is near the tail end of the field. At least the people who are running the tail end of the field largely are DNFs, but Wilkes still in third, Saber in second, Ray Riddall is in first. Yeah, that's right, KO, he might have a flat tire. That's a good observation, but it also looked like that right front wing was drooping a little bit. Maybe it was just as a result of that flat tire. Ruben Fernandez also out of the race now. Goodness, cars are dropping like flies. I think a lot of people are probably a little bit rusty, having been off of this series for a month. I'll just venture a guess there. When you're away from sim racing for a while, you do get rusty. You do start to lose muscle memory of how to work with these cars and how to control things and how to drive. And it can bite you, especially on a standing start. Coming down to complete lap number 6 is our leader. And the two Ferraris in close pursuit. This is the bus stop chicane from the chopper. And you can see how the second part of the bus stop chicane is actually much faster. There goes Ray through to start lap number 7. And the two Ferraris just behind him of Saber and Wilkes. Schlapinski heading through the bus stop now in 4th place, followed by Juha Boss, who is in 5th. He's up 6 positions from the start. Very impressive. Cinturami is in 6th, and then here comes Gabriel Del Piccolo, closely being hounded by Anders Nilsson as they head into the La Source hairpin. Now we head downhill towards Eau Rouge and then Radion as KO pointed out. And there's a little bit of a lift there, but I would think that it'd be easier for drivers to do that later on, maybe in the second stint when there's not as much fuel on board. Plavich is doing quite well. He's picked up 9 places from the start, driving his footwork hard. That's impressive. So we'll see if he can possibly turn this race into a points finishing position. Bouchard, he started way back in the field. He's probably the biggest mover so far. He's up 15 places from the start. That's incredible. And we're still not sure why he didn't have a good qualifying session. It's probably because he showed up late, because I just can't imagine him not being able to put together a good lap in this McLaren. Nilsson still working on the Lotus of Del Piccolo here. Looking back now from Del Piccolo's car as Nilsson stalks him. So a relatively low number of laps here, because this is a relatively long circuit. 44 laps, similar to the number of laps you'd see at, say, Hockenheim. Through Blanchimont and now down to the bus stop one more time. Del Piccolo threads the Lotus through. Nilsson right with him still. And Centorami is not letting Juha get away. He definitely wants that 5th place back. We'll see if he can do it at the end of the straight here before they get to Lake Combe. You see there's another starting grid. That one was typically used back in the day for sports car racing. There's actually 2 pits complexes here at Spa. One on the other side or just in front of La Source, and then the other one that's on the downhill run towards Eau Rouge. Now into Lake Combe. This battle's cooled off just a little bit. Schlapinski not far away, and the Ferrari's still. Oh, and look at this. Saber is actually closed in on our leader. He may have, Ray Riddall may have made a mistake, because he's suddenly lost a great deal of time here. There's only 0.6 of a second now between the Ferrari and our leader, Ray Riddall. So suddenly we have a battle for the lead here. So now we have an answer for why Jules didn't have a good time. He had an accident qualifying, and the toe-back time prevented him from doing anything good and decent in the car. So there's the answer. But look at this. David Saber very, very close to Ray right now as they thread through Blanchimont, heading down towards the bus stop. I doubt David is going to try to overtake him here. Very risky to do. But he is right on the doorstep of Ray Riddall right now. He's got a great opportunity. Look at them bouncing over the curbs there as they head back onto the straight by the pits here, and now into La Source. Turning right, the sharpest corner on the circuit, and obviously the slowest part of the circuit. Now accelerating downhill. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th in this Ferrari. Left, right, through Eau Rouge into Radillon. And look at that, he's actually he is definitely pulling Ray Riddall in the straight. Those extra horses he's putting to good use. Is he going to try overtaking here? No, he's going to back off. Probably a wise thing to do. He just didn't quite have the legs on there. He would have been lunging if he tried it there. Now into Lake Combe, heading downhill towards the relatively even speed hairpin. And there's a car they're going to be lapping up here, which is going to add a little bit of sauce to the goose. It is Vermeersch, who has emerged from the pits after repairing his Lotus. So here comes David Saber now, getting closer and closer to Ray, and now Ray is boxed in by the Lotus of Vermeersch. This is the chance that David's looking for. He might be able to do it here, but no, he backs off into this right-left section here. But man, that Ferrari is looking to be really good for David right now. We'll have to see what tires he goes with on the last stop there, although that is if he will stop. David has surprised us in races past where he is not taken tires in a race and gone the whole distance. But look at him pulling on Ray here. He is getting very close. Is he going to try it here? No, not a good idea anyway. Goes through Blanchimont, now down to the bus stop once more. But my goodness, my guess is that Ray made some kind of a mistake that we didn't see on camera, and that's given David the chance to close in. But Ray may also have something else going on because he's not building that lead up again. He's very, very close still to David Saber as they head downhill once again. This is great stuff. And Wilkes isn't too far back there in third place in the Jean Lacy Ferrari. Schlapinski still fourth. Fifth is Juha, and that battle has broken off between him and Centorami. And then you have Del Piccolo, who is still being hounded by Anders Nilsson as they head down to La Source. Heading downhill once again. Let's see if Del Piccolo sweeping to the left there, up the hill. The key is to get really good exit speed off of these corners and then just blast down this straight and overtake your target going into Les Combes. Don't think it's going to happen this time, but this could be an excellent battle. Jules Bouchard still running in 9th place, but still that is incredible, being up 15 places from his spot on the grid. That's really fantastic. I think he was aided, of course, by the number of cars that went out, but he definitely has a chance to get some points here, even though he had a dismal qualifying session. 10th, Peter Hlavich. That's another one to watch. He's up 9 places from the start. It would be really interesting if he could get up into the top 6 with this footwork Hart. They've jettisoned the Porsche engines for the year, and now driving that Hart engine. This is pretty much cooled off here. Saber is ahead of Radal. It happened somewhere along here. Let's have a look what happened here. I'm going to run it back because this is a very important part of the race here, but could Ray have made a mistake of some kind? Because it's pretty amazing that David would get by the way he did. Running it back. See, this is why it's always better to have 2 commentators in the booth and not 1, but what can you do? My goodness, this happened a while ago. All right, so could it have been at the end of the straight at Les Combes, perhaps? Looks like that's what happened, but we'll wait for confirmation here. Yes, that is what happened. Saber out-dragged Ray Radal down to Les Combes, which it looked like he was eventually going to do. So new race leader is David Saber. Ray Radal drops to 2nd. He is now sandwiched between the 2 Ferraris. So it'll be interesting to see now, can David start building up a lead? He definitely has a straight line speed advantage over Ray Radal. You could see it with the naked eye as we were riding on board with David. So now it's a chance for him to spread his wings and use all of that Ferrari power. But Ray is not dropping back. He's right there still with David. So we'll have to watch this closely and see if David is able to pull out a gap. So far, it doesn't appear to be. Wilson 3rd, Schlapinski 4th, Boss in 5th. Of course, yes, this is his home Grand Prix. Centorami 6th. Del Piccolo doing a great job holding Nilsson at bay in that relatively inferior Lotus, inferior compared to the Jordan. And now we have Jules Bouchard closing on this group. It looks like he's going to have something to say about this before the race gets too far along here. Look at this. Whoa, lots of closure rate there with the McLaren versus the Jordan, but I would imagine Bouchard is going to start to poke his nose into this battle eventually. There is Vermeersch, 1 lap down, and he's letting this train by. Actually, a very opportune place to do so. He lets everybody go by, very gentlemanly. And now heading back downhill one more time into Eau Rouge. Reyberdal in second, but he is now starting to fall backwards towards Richard Wilkes. So we'll see if Wilkes can make an impression on Reyberdal. The gap from David Saber to Reyberdal is 2.2 seconds right now, so he is pulled out a little bit of a gap. Looks like there's a heated discussion going on about the start. Yeah, definitely if you have a grievance of some kind about the start, the protest forum is what you want to be looking at, not the chat on YouTube, please. So Wilkes staying relatively close. The gap between him and Reyberdal is just a little over a second as they head now to the bus stop. There's a yellow flag in this section. Not sure why that is. Yes, oh, there it is. There, it's Johnny Aces rejoining the track after some kind of off-course excursion. He's going straight for the pits. So he's obviously got something wrong with his Kalani. Interestingly enough, on the qualifying chart for this race, there were several people at the bottom that didn't even register a time. There just happened to be 26 people exactly on the server. So some people were added to the grid without even posting a time, which is interesting. So things are pretty well spaced out at the front now. Let's look back. Ślepinski in fourth. And here comes Juha, who has got a good cushion between himself and Centorami now. Bouchard is heading... Oh my goodness! Bouchard's got a problem, it appears. He's lost the front of his car! Bouchard out of the race! My goodness, how did this happen? And it appears it was not just one car involved. It was the battle between... Oh my goodness! This was Bouchard, Nilsson, and Del Piccolo. What in the world happened here? Heading out of the bus stop chicane. Oh my goodness, it looks like Nilsson hit something. Yeah, he hit something, and that basically, he went into the barrier, and chain reaction back to Bouchard. Let's look at that one more time. And all three of them went out of the race. That's incredible. All right. I'm going to zoom out here, and then we can see exactly what happened. As they come to the... here they come, all three of them now. And was it... Del Piccolo? Yes, it was Del Piccolo. It was a chain reaction accident taking all three cars out of the race. Incredible. And that was a great battle. It's a real shame, but that's not an uncommon thing at tight corners like that. If one person in front of you has an accident and the rest of you all pile into it, you don't have any time to react. But that is what happened there. My goodness. So that takes three more people out of the race. People that actually... you know, had a shot at possibly doing well in this race, but it moves several people up the order. Hlavic is now in 7th place as a result of that. Juha still in 6th. Or Juha down to 6th. Centorami is now 5th, actually. Ślepinski 4th. And the, look at this, Wilkes is now starting to knock at the door of Reyberdal. So very, very close racing here. Let's see if... Wilkes can get underneath Reyberdal. He's getting close. Looking back from Reyberdal's car. There we go. So it's interesting to me that the Ferraris have such pace here compared to the Renault. They do have that extra bump in horsepower, but my goodness, both David and Wilkes looking fantastic in the new 643 Ferraris that were introduced to the French Grand Prix. Prior to that, they were in the older 642 from 1991. Yeah, Bouchard out of the race. My goodness, the list of DNFs is incredible. We're now at a point, it looks like we only have 10 cars actually running in this race. And there are only 14 laps on the board so far. That's incredible. Down to the bus stop one more time. This battle's gone off the boil for the moment. Slipinski in fourth. Fifth is Giovanni Centorami, who got back by Juha. And look at this. Here is Hlavic trying to get by. Well, that's actually not for position, I believe. That's Vermeersch in the lone. It's Vermeersch in the remaining Lotus after that accident. All right, so Hlavic is in an excellent position here. He could very well be in the points before this day is over if the attrition is any indication. And look at this. Boss is right back with Centorami again. So Boss looking to get that top 5 back. And look at this, he's right in his slipstream, popping out to the left. That's not the preferred line, but maybe he can get it done. Juha on the outside going to the Lake Holm. Is he going to get it done? No. Centorami holds him off. Look at the brake discs glow on Boss's Benetton. He's taking that car very deep into the corner. Now back to the left. Giovanni Centorami just in front of him in 5th place. Juha has gained 5 positions from his starting spot. They come through the Pouhon. He's right there with him. He's just waiting for the right place to pounce and get that 5th position back. Downshifting now. Yeah, this is great stuff. Now back onto the old circuit here. Oh, he might have a shot here. He's got the inside line on this corner. Is he going to take 5th place? He's right alongside of Centorami. He's not. He's on the wrong part of the circuit there. He kicks up some dust, but he gets back in line. So that was a smart thing to do because he wouldn't have been in a good position to overtake there. And look at, oh my goodness, Centorami overshoots the bus stop. And the question is now, is Boss going to be let through? It does not appear that Centorami sees it that way. He's defending on the inside line. Boss going around the outside. Can he hold the position? I don't think so. Yeah, Centorami, well, now they're wheel to wheel heading down this straight. Boss has the upper hand. There he goes. He finally slots in line. Boss is up to 5th place. Now let's see if he can build a gap at all as they head up the hill here through Radion. Now down the Kemmel straight. Is Centorami going to counterattack? It looks like he is. He pops out left-hand side. He's got a lot of steam. Is he going to be able to do it? Sweeps around on the outside, takes the position back from Juha. Excellent racing here. Heading into the hairpin, now back downhill again. And Juha's definitely not going to let this go. He's looks like he's going to try another pass here in a few corners. Not here at Pouhon, but he's basically got the car in a position where he can overtake if Centorami makes the slightest error. The danger here, of course, is that you're very close to the back of the car and it obscures your vision to a degree, which can get in the way of any markers that you have mentally on the circuit to shut off and then accelerate. Yeah, he's got a definite head of steam here coming down towards Blanchimont. Now, is he going to try to overtake here? Very dangerous to do it here. He looks to the outside. No, not enough time or space there. He's going to hold station behind Centorami. Now, Centorami, he wants to get through the bus stop without incident this time. He does so. Boss is right with him still. Exit of the bus stop. So we'll see if Boss can get closer. 6th. Hlavich is in 7th. Chacon is now up to 8th in the other Benetton. 9th place is Matthias Whitman. And Grant Riddall is in 10th. Look at this. Here comes Boss. Can he get it done? No. Let's look at a replay of that. He had some speed there, but just not enough to get alongside. So much of it is determined by how you do in the corner prior. Oh my goodness! Juha almost loses the car! That was an incredible save by Juha there. Thankfully, he did not lose the car or hit the barrier there. That was very, very close indeed. Believe me, when you see the wheel going back and forth like that, like a saw, that's certainly a hair-raising moment in the car. But Juha gets it back under control. That's actually probably going to give Giovanni a bit of a respite. Lipinski having a relatively quiet race compared to most people here as he gets closer to one of the AGS cars there. It is that is Mark Whitman actually, who has gone a lap down. So already in this race, only the top 8 cars are on the leader lap. So the pace has been very frantic, and definitely there's been a lot of attrition so far. As we look at Ray Riddall now, 2nd, with Wilkes in 3rd. Lipinski 4th. Wilkes is going to be trying to reel in Ray Riddall, but at some point it's going to be a question of can you do the over-under, the overlap when you get to the pit stop. That'll be the interesting part. Lipinski. Yeah, this battle is broken off basically because Juha had that very scary moment. So, and then here's Hlavich in 7th place, a bit far back from the 6th place car, but still he's in a great spot to collect points if anything happens to the people in front of him. Chacon is in 8th place, having a good race for himself. Is up 12 positions in the Roberto Moreno Benetton, so he's looking good. And this is Mark Whitman, who's driving the AGS Ford. He is up 8 positions from the grid start. He's in 9th place now. This is another Ford-powered car, not the power plant that you would find in other cars. Kind of an odd-shaped cockpit, but he has that yoke-style steering wheel. Actually, is it my imagination or is he driving slowly? Well, he's letting cars by that are actually a lap ahead there, but something tells me that there might be a problem here with Whitman. I'm not sure. We'll keep an eye on that. Yeah, here we are back with Juha is in 6th and Centurami in 5th. Okay, here comes Ray Riddall now closing on Chacon. Wilkes will be looking at this as a possible chance to get by. But people are doing a pretty good job of getting out of the way of the leaders here, and Chacon is no exception here. He just gets out of the way of Ray Riddall. The gap between Ray and the leader, David Saber, in the other Ferrari is 6.6 seconds right now. And then you have Ray Riddall in 2nd, Wilkes in 3rd. We're coming up on the 3 o'clock hour, and I would ask everyone in the YouTube chat, please, no IndyCar Nashville spoilers. Because that's the first thing I'm doing after I'm done here, is I'm going to watch that. So please, no spoilers in the chat. Thank you. Also, no Detroit Lions spoilers either, because I have 2 things to watch when I get out of here. So Ray holding his own here relatively well. Saber through the bus stop seems to be in good trim and in good order. Let's go further back in the field here, see if there are any close battles. 10th is Grant Riddall, so that's after his problem with what we assume was a blown tire or a cut tire. He is now up to 10th place, and Drexler is not that far behind him. Actually, sorry, Grant is now okay. Now we've got a ping issue, I think. No, Grant is actually in the what? Why is Grant in the garage? Grant is out of the race. All right, let's have a replay. Let's look at what happened here. Something happened. Grant on his own. It's a disco. And then here's Vermeersch, who has a problem. It looks like it's a blown engine for him. Yes, blown engine for Vermeersch, and he's out of the race. So there goes the Lotus duo. But Grant looks like he had a disco there. That's really unfortunate. Yeah, my goodness. And Whitman is out of the race, too. I don't know what happened there. Goodness. DNFs like crazy here. Points are going to be coming cheap as long as everybody can complete 90% of the race. Ray Riddall. What's going on here? Is he out of the race? What? Ray out of the race, too? That's incredible. What's going on here? I have no clue what's happening here. I'm going to look at the timing and scoring to see if I can tell what's happening. Yep, it's showing Ray Riddall in 4th place now and falling backwards quickly. So it appears, and U-Haul Boss is in 3rd. So yes, it appears that there has been a series of discos in a row here. This is incredible. Sabre leads in the Ferrari. 2nd is Wilkes now. 3rd, and out of the race is Boss. What happened here? Boss looks like he's had an incident on his own. Going through, yes, he runs off the track. This is his own incident. It has nothing to do with what's happened recently. And he runs the car clear into the barriers. My goodness. So he couldn't steer his way out of that. So Boss out of the race. Ray Riddall is out of the race. Chacon is now 5th. Now 4th, actually, because he overtakes Ray Riddall. Slipinski is in 6th now, but he's also in the pits. Centorami, what is going on here? We just have a massive collection of DNFs in a row here. Unbelievable. I haven't seen anything like this in a long time. I don't know what's going on here. It looks like there's been a series of discos that's claimed most of the people in the race that were left. And we'll just have to wait and see how this works out. But this is incredible. I wonder what in the world caused this. It can't be something that happened locally for everybody. The fact that it happened all of a sudden leads me to believe that it was something inherent in the internet. Good grief. In any case, Sabre now leads by, and Wilkes is coming to a stop. Wilkes is pulling his car to the inside. The car's running, but I don't know what's going on here. Wilkes pulling to the side. Apparently, there could be something going on here with the stewards. They might be deciding to stop this race because something has happened. But if that's the case, we have Juha now on the line here. Juha, can you fill us in as to what's going on?
Well, it seems you had a massive disconnection from a set of drivers because everybody disconnected at the same time, and I was behind a few of them. Mm-hmm. So obviously, we're not going to end the race with like 5 people left in it.
So what's the plan? Are you going to go back to the point at which the disco happened and have the drivers that were on track at the time restart?
Well, it depends how many people would still restart. I don't think we'll get.
My goodness.
Well, we check if everybody wants to rejoin the forum, but
yeah, that's another thing. You got to make sure that there are people who some people may have actually gone off and done something else now, but my goodness, this is a serious situation here. So I gather that Wilkes has parked his Ferrari as he is working on something, but that car's going to cook in a matter of seconds. So
yeah, I could restart. Oh well, restart the race is obviously not an option because we're already an hour into it.
Yeah, we're up. There's already been plenty of racing that's happened.
There we have Wilkes.
So just so everyone is aware of what's going on at the moment, Saber and Wilkes are in the lead in the two Ferraris. Chacon is in third, but it appears that he has stopped as well. Boss is shown fourth, but
Yeah, so I've already signaled the race is over, so there's no point in continuing.
so we're actually going to call the race at the point of those.
I'll let Wilkes chime in if he has.
We will discuss that. We will discuss that.
Okay, well, while you are deciding what you want to do, we will take a short break.
Yes.
And we'll be back in a bit. This is a really unprecedented situation, but we've got to. That's what the admin team is here for. So, everyone, please stand by. We'll be back in a little bit. All right, so we're back now, and a rather unprecedented set of circumstances. But I'll let our admin here, Yuha, explain what we are going to do with this situation.
Yes, thank you, Jason. Because we do not have any dates left to rerun this race, we will allocate half points at the end of the lap before the disconnections happened. So we'll give half points to the drivers who are running in the top 6 at that point of the race.
And at this
we
point,
will look at the broadcast and the replay where that happened.
so you're going to run back, look back through when the point where those discos happened, and that's when you're going to decide who was in what position for the half points. Okay, well, thank you, Yuha, for taking charge. Wilkes too.
I'm sorry this had to happen.
Well, you know, it is what it is. Technology is a wonderful thing when it works and does what you want, but that doesn't always happen. So it's too bad. So, well, thank you for popping in and giving us that information. So we'll let you guys go on about what you have to do now, because obviously they've got to make sure that they get the order right. They don't want to rush and put it up in an incorrect fashion. So thanks very much to Yuha and Wilkes for stepping in and getting this resolved, which is unfortunate from a viewership point of view, because we only got to see not even half of the race. I think it was about 20 laps were in the books when this happened, maybe 21. So let's try to end things on a positive note here. Trivia question for you. Which driver won the last Belgian Grand Prix at Zolder? Is it A, Michele Alboreto, B, Ayrton Senna, or is it C, Alain Prost? Time's up. Anybody want to venture a guess?
I'll go for Prost.
You'll go for Prost? What about you? Wilkes is off doing something. What about Jonathan? He's in here.
I unfortunately wasn't listening to the question.
Oh, which driver won?
I was caught up in other things. Sorry.
Okay. So Prost was Juha's answer, and unfortunately, that is not correct. The answer is Michele Alboreto. Sorry about that.
Oh, I should have known that one. Oh, I feel silly now.
Okay. So that was the abbreviated Belgian Grand Prix. Now let's take a look at what's coming up here at ISO. Next week, DHL International Race Day. That is going to be at Brands Hatch Indy, round 11 of 13. Sunday, September 22nd, race 1 starts at 2000 CEST. And then the following week, we run the British Grand Prix. It was delayed because there was a lot of work being done on the track behind the scenes. It is now ready to go, apparently, round 11 of 16, and that will be on September 29th at 2000 CEST. And by the way, for those of you who joined late, there's another podcast that's coming out on Saturday, the 21st at 2000 CEST, and it's an interview with a very special guest. We're not going to tell you who. You'll have to log in and watch the podcast premiere to see for yourself. So, too bad things didn't go well, but with the race, but these things happen. And anyway, we would thank everybody for joining and watching with us, and hopefully things will go better next time around at the British Grand Prix. Anything that the admins would like to add before we sign off?
No, I just want to say I'm sorry for this happening.
Yeah, well, it's
yes.
I think everybody understands that this stuff happens. You know, Windows updates and computer issues. I know we've all been on the receiving end of discos, and it's not fun. So if you think it's not fun watching, it's even worse when you're in the car and you suddenly realize you are not on the server anymore.
Absolutely. Or that everyone disappeared.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add that the next race is going to be Silverstone, like Jason said.
Yeah.
We have a completely new track made from scratch by Martin Lucena run this race. It's not available in any other game. It's a period correct Silverstone, various guises, and we have that race. It's going to go up server right now, so make sure to come back because yes, although this one was short, we hope the next one will be better.
Well, that's a huge inducement to take part because building a track from scratch is no easy feat. It requires a lot of hands and a lot of time, and yeah, that's fantastic. I can't wait to see what Martin's cooked up for us. Thanks for that tidbit of information. All right, well, we're going to sign off then at this point. For Juha and Jonathan and Wilkes, this is Jason White saying so long. We'll see you next time on our broadcast, hopefully for more racing. Everyone, please take care and be safe.